My dream home. Where do I even begin? Let's start with the kitchen since that's where I'll be spending most of my time. Cute little animation from my dream home with the heart and the stars. Just to give a good energy and vibe to the start of the project. When I first started looking at kitchens, I was going through Pinterest and Cosmos and all these like different picture apps because I needed some sort of imagery to go based off of. So I chose these three images. The first one on the left, the first thing that I got was a lot of greenery, and I really love that because then I can use like basil and thyme. I can keep them in their pots and then use them by literally picking them off the pots when I need them. So that is the energy that I want for my dream kitchen. I really love that top ceiling window that's on that roof of that first image. The second picture obviously has these huge grand windows, which I think I really enjoy seeing because that way more sunlight can come in, and for me the more sunlight the better. You know, it just keeps me more awake and just feels more green. The one key takeaway from this second image was the wood table on the right. It just gives a very nurturing energy to this kitchen, which I ideally want, and also the wood countertops. So as you can see with the first two images, there's a lot of wood elements going around. When we go to our third image, the third table is an enhancement of the table from the second image. It just gives a lot of modern wood table is what I would assume it to be. And so ideally I would want that in my kitchen as well. And so I have the color scheme up top, a lot of browns and a lot of greens, a lot of like olive dark greens, and that is ideally how I want my kitchen to be. So once I finished the digital sketch, I mapped it out with a red pencil on my big watercolor piece of paper. I believe the watercolor paper is like 22 inches by 48 inches. It was a little bit difficult because the page was so big to begin with, so it was hard to like kind of like map out which area was which. Overall, I did a pretty good job in kind of getting down the kitchen to where it's supposed to be. So I started painting here, the greens off camera, because I personally don't like getting filmed when I do painting. I feel like it disrupts my process a little bit. So I'm trying out this method here where I'm just gonna kind of like film little bits and pieces here and there, and then maybe I can just get used to getting filmed on camera. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm painting each picture frame one by one because I've gotten most of the green down. When I first started painting, I painted the whole watercolor paper in like a lime green. I want my kitchen to be green, as you can clearly tell in this painting. But then I realized as I was painting more and more, I was like, there's too many greens. And so I'm adding all these different like color elements of red, yellow, brown. You'll see a couple of blue and browns here and there. The way I'm approaching my painting right now is very, I would say childlike. It's very flat. It's not, there's no like, I don't think there's correct perspective on the painting right now. I'm just really doing it just to see what my kitchen would look like if I were to build a home from scratch. It's very different from what I'm used to painting before, which is very realistic painting. This new way of approaching this painting is really helping me kind of enjoy being in the moment and seeing where the brush takes me. I've been reading up on a lot of like artists and seeing how they process their work, and they really just sit back and wait for the paintings to speak to them. So I'm trying to do the best of my ability to do that. Every time I look at this painting, so bad. I've like fucking ruined it. I ruined it. I ruined the painting. Every time I pass by it just gets worse. I'm really hoping tomorrow it'll be tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be like, yay, that was, I was just in my head. Or maybe tomorrow I can just like fix it here and there, but it just doesn't look good. Oh, it just keeps getting worse when I look at it. I know I'll keep. So we've got our final piece here in front of us. Overall, I think it's okay. There is a lot of work that needs to be done for sure. Originally, the way I was gonna approach my dream home series is I was gonna bunch them all up together and just give it to everyone, just like kitchen, bathroom, living room. But I'm realizing that it might take a lot longer than expected, so I am now approaching it on a weekly basis. So this is what we have for our 2 weeks of painting our kitchen. Overall, I think it's a good start. There is a lot of work that needs to be done, especially with the frames, the walls. As earlier, you can see me breaking down because the painting was not looking great at all. It was really bad for a while, and I think I fixed most of it through acrylic. Good job on the painting. It looks like a mess right now, but it will look so much better once we add all the little details and all the little textures and all the little fixtures that make our kitchen. And then once we finish basically with the first part of our painting, then we can work on the second part of our painting, and then we'll probably move on to our next room or location of the room. That is all that we have for these 2 weeks that we've been working on this painting. There is no timeline for this painting. I really am just taking it week by week and just figuring out what works for me. And that is it. This was spring, and I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Toodles!